Britt and Brad was the ones that got arrested, y'all. We was wrong. We was wrong. Britt and Brad was the only ones that got arrested because they decided to skip out on paying the doggone bill. I said, now they knew better. I said, what they thought was going to happen. I said, of course they would know who they was or either had them on cameras and they done ran out. But yeah, they the ones who got arrested. Josh plans on getting all the information that Jason needs. I wonder how she gonna react when she finds out that Jason told her mama and he also knows more than what he said. But yeah, Josh plans on getting all the info Jason needs. Valentine wants to know Carly's all in or else they don't have a deal no more. Brendan's still trying to talk to Charlotte. Isaiah and Portia talk about him possibly being the father. Charlotte told Nina that Valentine reached out, but Nina told her don't tell her nothing else to keep the information to herself. I said, right on. I said, right on. That's exactly what he get. You don't sit up here and destroy it. You deleted evidence or whatever to help her out, and she knows something. She knows a little bit of something. She don't know exactly what he said or what he did or anything like that because Nina told Charlotte not to say nothing else. I said, I wonder if he have Nina and them watch too. I want to know that because he watching everybody else. He keep his tabs on everybody else and everything else. I want to know if he heard that conversation. But okay. Hey, y'all. Welcome back for General Hospital, December 19, 2025. First things first, let me know your thoughts on this episode down below. What y'all think that y'all like the episode? Well, I don't think that was much of a cliffhanger. That wasn't. And again, we still don't know. I was hoping that this was gonna be the week, that this was gonna be the Friday, the cliffhanger, where we learn who shot the man. Somebody said maybe it was Chase. Somebody said maybe it was Chase. Look, I don't know at this point. I really don't know at this point. But yeah, what y'all think of the episode? I don't think it was a worthy Friday episode. I definitely don't think it was worthy. Britt and Brad getting arrested. I said, don't nobody care about that. Don't nobody. Jason probably gonna be the one to help them. But yeah, on today's episode, they started out with 88 Turner just questioning everybody. She questioned Christina. She questioned Elizabeth and everything. But in regards to Christina, I was wondering what she wanted. She was questioning her about Donna Day, about them being trained with weapons and stuff, trying to prove that, Willow knew how to operate a weapon and everything. How they all went through training and stuff like that. I said, I didn't know that. I don't remember them talking about that. But yeah, that's all she was questioning her about. Then she questioned Elizabeth about the day that they found the weapon and Willow's state of mind and the wedding and all this other stuff. And Willow just sitting up there. I said, you can't really tell by looking at it if she did it or not. I don't know. I said, look, we still questioning who shot the man. But yeah, he actually didn't get up there and say that Michael did it. I expected him to. I thought he was going to get up there and say it because he was like, he gave Alexis a chance. But she failed. But yeah, we talked about Christina being questioned about Donna Day. Valentine thinks that Brendan still has the evidence against Carly because he planned on using it. She over here talking about, but he helped Michael get into the little program or whatever, and just instead of saying what he did. And he was like, if he had got the evidence after y'all was already together, then yeah, he would think that he was doubting himself. He wasn't gonna use the evidence or anything like that. Excuse me, but he had the evidence before, and he was telling her, yo, whole relationship was a lie. It was based on a lie from the jump. And I said, exactly. People don't be thinking about that. And she's still up there just talking and stuff like that. And he was like, well, if you ain't gonna be all in, basically, he don't want to be partners with her no more. And she was like, this makes her even more in. This makes her even more in. I said, he gonna have evidence on the whole family. Oh, Valentine also mentioned how he may have kept the evidence because of Jason to use it to his advantage. I said, you right, Valentine, you smart. I said, either you smart or you knew about it. Either you smart or you knew about it. One way or another. I said, either you smart because you was talking about, the way the WSB worked, the way Brendan worked, and all this other stuff. But you may have been in on it. Because I still say she can't trust him either. I said, I don't care. I said, I still wouldn't trust him neither. But yeah, I was like, once Brendan gonna end up figuring it out. He either gonna catch Josh slipping or whatever, or he gonna catch Carly slipping. But yeah, Nathan tells Brendan that he's not his father because he was still talking about him being gone 7 years and how nobody know where he at and he could be working with them, working with Faison, all this other stuff. And I said, he got a point though, because the fact that he don't remember, something's off. Something's definitely off. Now, I ain't saying that he involved in any of that or nothing like that because I don't know. I really don't know. I just know that he be looking all suspicious and stuff sometimes. But yeah, Josh tells Jason about Britt's involvement, basically telling him that she's not innocent. And I said, exactly. He's still making excuses. Just gotta save her. Talking about some, I'm not discrediting it, or I know that she's involved, but I'm just saying that the reason why, or maybe the reason why she is involved, is because they using them meds against her. I mean, they did say that. They did say, you won't be getting your medication and all this other stuff. I want to know if they're gonna be testing on Anna, cause remember they was talking about testing on Jocelyn Vaughn. I want to know if they trying to test on her or whatever. But yeah, Lulu ends up kicking Brandon out. He leaves, and they were just talking about everything. And that's when Nina showed up out there, and Brandon was like, he hoping that she's there to keep her end of the bargain. So she goes in there and she convinces Lulu now to let Charlotte go with her. Charlotte though told already. I said I understand because she thinks she could trust her. But yeah, soon as she said that, she was like, actually, my father has reached out to me, and she was like, don't tell me nothing else. It's a lot of people, that's after him or whatever. You don't need to tell them nothing, and you don't need to tell me nothing else either. And I was like, at least she told her that. I said, at least she good for something, and that's exactly what Brennan get. Want to betray somebody. I said, you could tell he all about himself. You could tell he all about himself. He don't care nothing about Carly and her family. Then gonna say the other day to my son, I would never include you or your family in my job. You liar, liar. What else? Brittany and Brad end up running out without paying the bill. Isaiah talks to Portia about his father and being a father. He was like, at first he didn't have an answer about it, but now he do. And he was just talking about how he plans on being, if he is the father, he's going to be a good father and he's going to be around and stuff. She just smiling and stuff. I said, just tell the truth at this point. Curtis finally ends up calling and stuff to check on her, to my son. He had called, I think, the hospital or something like that, and they said she was gone. She told me, so she with a friend. She with a friend and everything, and she not at the hotel. He told me, so what are you craving? And told me, so he'll be glad when the whole trial thing is over because, they can move forward and they can focus on their baby and moving on. And I said, don't tell me he taking his Aunt Stella's advice. Don't tell me you taking your Aunt Stella's advice. But yeah, I said, she over here laid up with a man now. Well, they was sitting up, but the same thing applies. We talked about Brandon asking Nina if she there to fulfill her end of the bargain. Drew tells Alexa that she's blowing it or whatever. I said, I'm so sick of him. I'm so sick of him. That's the end. That's the takeaway from this week's episode. I'm sick of Drew. But we've been sick of him though. I'm so sick of him getting away with stuff and just over here doing everything he doing and thinking he the boss. But Alexa did tell him how she not perjuring herself. She said she lost her law license once. She not losing it again for nobody. For nothing and nobody. And I said, even if you get her off, the way he acting, the way he been studying talking about moving to D.C. and taking Willow and the kids to D.C., he still wouldn't let you see the kids. See Scout. He still would hold Scout against you. I don't think he'll still be in control either way it go. And I was like, they're just gonna have to get rid of him. But whoever shot him didn't do a good job. Shoot. Whoever shot him, clearly they are amateur or something. Y'all saying has Sonny been on this week? I don't know if Sonny's been on this week. I think he did because when he was trying to get 88 Turner to drop the charges against Rocco. But yeah, what else? Let's see. Isaiah said he gonna be the best father if he is the father. Alexa think that Drew gonna make it worse if he get on that stand and say he suddenly remembers that it was Michael because he was planning on saying it. But by the end of the episode, he did not. He said that he don't remember when 88 Turner asked him. But he told Alexis that even though he didn't remember now, that don't mean he ain't gonna remember that Michael did it later. And Willow was just back there looking, and I was like, man, come on now. The thrill of wondering who did it is gone. It's over with. We just getting irritated now, or we've been irritated. I said the thrill of, could have been this person, could have been that person. Y'all done arrest half the town. No, I just tell stories. I just play. I was like, y'all arrested half the town. Shoot, but y'all don't accuse half the town at least. And they still don't know. But yeah, I already said Curtis calls to check on Portia. Drew ready to say Michael did it. Jason think that they using the meds to make Britt do what they want. Nina and Charlotte talk about Valentine. Turner questions Drew, asks if he knows who shot him. That's when he was like, no. Nina tells Charlotte not to tell her anything else. Valentine wants to make sure that Carly's all in. And that's when she said that she hates him even more or whatever. Jason ends up telling Josh to be careful because she was talking about uncovering everything he needs to know. And I was like, look, I was waiting on when she was telling him that if she gonna be telling him stuff, he gotta tell us stuff. I was expecting him to say I told Carly or something about the whole Dalton situation or something. But no, at least Josh told him a lot of the information he needed to know because Britt good for nothing. Then they over here just laughing and talking about, so it's good that they back hanging out and all this other stuff, reminiscing. Y'all going to jail. They talking about, so it's a big misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. Y'all didn't pay. Y'all left without paying. But yeah, they over here just happy and stuff. Chase shows up. I thought that it was gonna be Michael and Tracy because they showed somebody listening, and people been speculating that that actually wasn't Martin, that it wasn't Martin or whatever, that it was Chase who was out there looking. Either way it go, if it wasn't Martin and it was Chase, what did Drew want Martin to do at the Quartermain house? But yeah, what else? What else? Like I said, Chase came up there. He came to arrest them. They told us what he doing there. He's like, I think and that's when he ends up arresting both of them. I already said at the end of the episode, Drew said that just because he didn't remember that Michael shot him this time doesn't mean he won't later. And I was like, dude, give it a rest. You want to be Michael so bad, and you want to take Michael down so bad. Shoot. But that's it, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. What did y'all think of this week's episode? Are y'all disappointed that we still don't know who shot Drew? Because I am. Whatever. That's it. That's all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. It's the next time. Deuces. Have a great rest of the day, a great weekend, and be safe.